Hello and welcome to another Pittcon Online video series. In this one, we will be discussing resume formatting and how to hopefully go for the optimal job hunting experience. When developing your resume, there are many different possible things to consider. In this video series, the goal is to get a streamlined development of foundations of how to set up your resume. Importantly, this is not meant to replace or take the place of any types of short courses or other broader employment help. This is only to give you a great baseline so that then any substantive feedback you receive would be about the content of your resume more so than formatting. As an overview, we have a few things to consider about the contents of a resume. So we include work experience, any training, leadership, service. We will also talk about the differences and similarities between a resume and a CV. We will talk about formatting suggestions, including length, font type, font size, and readability. There will be a few other resume considerations. And again, this is meant to be a general overview for you. More specifics can be found either at employment, in short courses, networking or workshops, or other opportunities throughout Pittcon. The major resume sections include several mandatory sections as well as recommended and optional sections. Mandatory, you will need to include your contact information. So we'll need to make sure that an employer knows how to reach you, including phone number, email, and physical mailing address. You will also include a section with your education and your work experience and employment history. Any of your materials throughout your resume or your CV, you'll need to make sure that those are in reverse chronological order, with the most recent things towards the top. That way, those will be the things that will jump out at a potential future employer. Other recommended sections include sections on volunteering, any professional or community service that you may be involved in, any honors and awards, skills, such as benchtop skills, computer skills, or other training that you may have completed, as well as any listings of publications and presentations. Optional sections might include relevant coursework for those of you earlier in your career or current students or very recent students, as well as any career objectives that you may have might be included as a small, short, bulleted list of approximately 1 to 4 objectives towards the top. In terms of the contents of your resume, we always suggest starting with a blank Word document or other similar program. The general advice is to avoid the pre-formed templates as they contain frequently too much white space and do not let you convey the relevant information you need in a format that is easy for an employer to view. Make sure to have your resume edited. This can include colleagues, family, and friends, as well as the employment offices at Pittcon are a great place for us to help you make the most out of your resume experience. The major similarities and differences, oftentimes people consider a curriculum vitae or a CV versus their resume. The resume is going to be a summary of the most relevant skills and experience tailored for a particular job. These are typically one page depending on what that job listing is requesting. In contrast, your vita, as the name suggests, will be the lifetime or the full listing of all professional and educational history you have. The curriculum vitae is often many pages, particularly as you progress through your career. And one major tip that we have is to maintain a growing CV that you can then pull the most relevant material from for each resume that you create. That way you will be tailoring your resume for each potential job opportunity you may go for. Resume formatting is traditionally one page. Again, always consult the listings. This is a general presentation to give you a starting format. Font size is traditionally 10 to 12 point font, and typical font types include those like Arial, Calibri, Helvetica, or Times. Remember, readability is key. Keep your document symmetrical and minimize white space. We see on the right-hand side an example pulled from the University of California at Irvine's Division of Career Pathways. Their sample chemistry resume, which contains all of the information we mentioned at the top. So a name, contact information, as well as education, experience, and any projects that are there. Note that this is a symmetrical document with major headers on the left-hand side that indicate job listings, as well as bulleted notations that might provide further description, as well as a right-hand adjusted date. In this manner, we can make sure we're minimizing our white space and we can maximize the readability for anyone in an employment office to look at. Again, reverse chronological order is key. We want to make sure that the most recent experiences are going to be towards the top. And we also want to make sure that we use bold or italics to highlight dates or key information. These are general guidelines. Your guidelines may vary depending on what your employer is that you're looking for. Some other considerations. We've already mentioned this, but just to revisit, make sure to keep one master resume or CV that you can use to pull all your materials from. Sometimes we end up with either a mid-career change, or we may be entering a job market with multiple possible openings. So making sure that we have all of that information at our fingertips rather than needing to sort through old folders and versions is key. Also, we suggest doing a save as draft each time you change and update your resume. That way, if you end up needing to refer back to information in an old draft that you may have removed for a position you were pursuing at that time, but now has become relevant again, you can refer back to that information as needed. Some considerations here. What do you want to convey to your employer? Take a look at the job listing that is present and consider which experiences you have, qualities you have, or specialized training you have that have a good selling point for where you're trying to go. How does this align to the posting? Also, make sure to keep things recent and relevant. For early career scientists, you may include college materials and awards that will become much less relevant as you get further from your college experience. So make sure to focus on the experience and education that closely aligns with the open postings and is the most current. Remember, these are suggestions for having a good, solid working resume or CV draft. The Pittcon Employment Office is very excited to provide help with reviews of resumes and additional feedback. We hope that by starting with a stronger draft after taking a look at this video and taking some of the advice from it, we will be able to focus on the substantive feedback during your in-person resume review process.